Okay, here we are back again, and what I'm going to be doing is trying to refine or figure out the process for facing off these valve caps. I've got the lathe set up. I've got a dial indicator set up. Basically, what I need to do is to make sure that the cap is seated flat in the chuck of the lathe, in the jaws of the lathe, so that if I do a facing cut, it'll be flat and parallel. So the biggest thing is making sure that I've got a flat, or got the cap flat in the jaws. Now, the problem is that these caps are so shallow that it's kind of difficult to get a firm grasp on them, and yet and still have it be good enough to be able to do the cut. So my first job is to see or to figure out the process for getting the caps into the chuck, so that I can get it to work right. So let me show you what I've got. So what you see here is the chuck, and in the jaws of the chuck I have a drill chuck that's basically small enough to be able to hold the cap. So let me see if I can get a better shot of that. That's the cap that's in the drill chuck, that's in the lathe. And so what I'm doing is I'm running this dial indicator up against the outside edge of the valve cap, and when it touches, you see that needle move? And what happens is that when I rotate the chuck, you see that needle moving up and down. So that's the lowest point, and that's the highest point right there. So then what I'm going to do is I back that off, and where's my punch? There it is. I have this punch and a small hammer, and it's going to give it a light tap at the high point. And I'm going to run this back in. Dial indicator back in. Okay. And we're going to rotate. Okay, so that's the low point, high point, And I kind of have this parallel with the, or in line with this jaw of the chuck. So that's the high point. Once again, back that out. Give it a very light tap with this hammer. And keep doing that until I can reduce the swing of that needle as much as I can. So that was my high point. So there's my high point again. And I think the hammer is too aggressive, so I'm just going to there. Now, swing that needle. It's only one, is 2 marks. So let's get the high point again. That's low. That's high. There. That's about one division. So that's saying that this is as flat as it's going to get, as flat as it's ever going to get, at least for this machine. So I'm going to take my dial gauge off of here. And here comes the real trick. Which is actually taking a cut. So I'm going to use this tool to try and do the facing cut. Now the problem is I don't know how if that tool is on the center line. which it definitely is not. So that tool is going to have to be raised up significantly. To be on the center line. Of that cut. Now, I'm probably going to do this absolutely the wrong way, but that's what I'm good for, is doing things absolutely the wrong way. What I should be using is shims in order to get that at the right height. But I don't have a stack of shims that is right. So what, pray tell, am I using? I'm using an Allen wrench, which I'm sure is absolutely the wrong thing to do. But you know what? So what else is new? Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that's the process. Now the trick is going to be putting this on the valve, measuring, taking off a little bit at a time, rinse and repeat until I get the clearance that I want between the top of the shim and the bottom of the cam lobe, base circle of the cam. So that's it. This one is not done, but I have to keep at this 15 more times for each one of the valves, and hopefully that'll get me where I want to be. Now I'm going to probably change up this tool setup. This was just a test. So I'm probably going to change out this tool setup in order to not have to worry about how long this tool is. But the basic idea is going to be the same. So this is just the start. So fun and games.